Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. In the morning these videos come, PIB videos come in the evening, and the PDF you will get on the Telegram channel, and the link is given on the last page. And 28th of March, this month is about to end, so there is nothing to be said now, and you all understand the situation, and these are the numbers there you can call and you can ask for these pendrive courses by StudyIQ. And 60% off is going on till 31st of March, so this month end sale is going on, and these updated courses all are available here, so take this advantage of this particular off, and these are going to be the most important help for you, because 2 months are left in the prelims 2019 for UPSC examination, and these are updated one created by experts. Words that I found, try them into sentences. The most important information today: successful anti-satellite missile test puts India in elite club. Now India has come into these category of 4 countries who are having this capability of attacking satellites. They can target these satellites, so from the ground you can attack these low earth orbit satellites. Low earth orbit means the height will not go more than 2000 kilometers from the surface of the earth, and below this particular height, whatever satellites and all are there, so they are low earth orbit satellites. Now see, 4 countries: USA, China, Russia, and now India is the 4th one who is having this capability. That DRDO developed missile had brought down this microsat R. It was the imaging satellite, as all these imaging satellites are there in the low earth orbit because they need to capture these pictures and all, so they are near the surface of the earth. So it was there at the height of 274 kilometer, and it brought down this particular satellite. And the important thing is that Make in India initiative was also boosted here, because this missile was developed by DRDO, and it ran into controversy when it was the national message by our Prime Minister of India to the whole country. And the bigger problem was the news channels. In the evening, some of these patriotic so-called patriotic news channels of India, they were presenting this information as such that DRDO had developed this particular capability and they brought this missile. That was great, but greater was the political will and the political class. So the real credit, anyhow, by this psychological interpretation, they actually shifted this whole credit to the political class, and that's how it ran into controversy. This is the time where model code of conduct is going on, and this kind of address to the whole nation ran into some kind of controversy. But you see, these channels, they would hail this move as the greatest thing that we did, although this thing was important, as there is no doubt that nobody can stop us from developing our capabilities. We did the nuclear experimentations and all, and since 1970s we have been doing that without any kind of pressure, and this particular capability was also necessary, and we did that, so it's a great achievement. But the Hindu newspaper told a story here that we became the space power, 4th space power in the world, but India is at 140th place in the happiness index. This is also the reality. This is also something that we need to focus on. We also need national addresses for these issues. We need issues of employment. We need issues of growth and opportunity for the poor. And you see, a different newspaper, a different journalist who's called a so-called anti-national journalist, Mr. Ravish Kumar, he was showing this particular story where in a village near Delhi, students were attending a coaching class, and that was a very local level, village level coaching class, because they cannot afford to go into cities. They cannot stay there because their father, they only earn around 8, 9, 10,000 rupees a month, and it is impossible for them to go out of their village and attend some classes and all, because the condition of local level institutions, schools, colleges, that is not up to that particular sufficient level where they can compete for these national level competitions. It is not always the issue of their own merit or their own dedication. Most of the times it is about the opportunities, and the rich class, the rich people who always get settled anyway, and this rising inequality, the rising problems of unemployment, it is creating havoc on the poor population of India. So the problem is, in this election time, what are the discussions, what are the issues that we are focusing on? We need to make this questioning to the class, that why unemployment has this kind of level, and why you were hailing that India is a young nation, 65% people are young. But see the condition here. You have all the claims, you have all the plans, you have all the schemes, but instead of that, the unemployment level is at the highest level. So this is something as a difference that we see today in the media. One is totally hailing the moves, and they don't want to show in these kind of troublesome thing, and they always want to thumb their chest whatever achievements they have done in regarding to Pakistan, China, that they are all threatened, and they are trembling in fear that India has developed this kind of ability and all. But everyone knows, if there is going to be a war, then when these things will be used, nothing would be left. So there cannot be any war. Right now, this is the reality of this world, because all are nuclear powers, and there can never be any of anything like war-like situation, because that would lead to total destruction, and we cannot destroy this earth. But these nukes, these weapons of mass destruction, they can. So they are important, but much more important is our conditions here. And see the level here, 140th position in the happiness index. So there are some things that we need to do. So for you people, this should be the motivation. These realities should be the motivation. If you become something in your life, and if you are aspiring to become so much responsible and at a prestigious position, you are dreaming yourself sitting on that particular chair, then you should never forget these conditions. These are the realities, and I'm telling you, if today you are not assuring your success, if you are not putting your best today, then there is no guarantee tomorrow that you will get any opportunity, because the conditions are becoming harsher and harsher every day. So this should be the motivation. This is the reality. This reality should open your eyes and should give you goosebumps, so that you give your best today, and very less time is left. And let's see. And a different story here, when we discussed about the situation where students are troubled with these exams, that 5-6 years are passed now, there are no permanent recruitments. If there were any, then they are all stuck in high courts cases, and they have not released these results. Some answer keys were leaked, or some questions were wrong, some answers which were given in the answer keys, those were wrong. So the cases are pending in the high court regarding that. So I don't understand why these things are happening in every state, and why this has become it's a very short formula, where governments are not bound to give jobs to the youth, and 4-5 years till the time the next election comes, they are never bound to give these jobs, because cases are pending in the courts. And how it became possible that the selection commissions, the recruitment boards who were preparing these question papers, how this was possible that they gave wrong answers to many questions? But it looks like this was done intentionally, that they would give wrong answers, or some wrong keys, or some things like a leak of paper that would happen, and after that, that cases would go into courts, and they would be stuck for years, until the time the next election comes, next recruitment does not come. So this is the situation here. This is the reality that no media house today shows us. But here there is a particular issue of election funding. I always say, find out the problem, recognize the problem, accept the problem, then you can only move towards the solution of this problem. What is the problem? Problem is the elections funding in India. Thousands of crores of rupees are wasted. You see rains of flowers on these great politicians of India, who are availing all the facilities, no dearth of fund, security personnel are protecting them from Indian mobs only, and they are enjoying everything. There is no dearth of fund. But you cannot question them about these issues, that why our question papers are set like that, and why there are no permanent recruitments for the last 5-6 years. And what about our age? We are in 20s, and when these 5, 6, 7, 8 years are gone, nothing would be left in our hand. Our whole age of this particular phase of youth, that would be gone. And where it is gone? Only waiting for some recruitment boards. So they don't answer these kind of questions. But you see what these people do. They came up with this election bond scheme in 2017, and they said that we want to improve this electoral system, and this is going to be the biggest electoral reform. They appointed SBI for these election bonds. And what kind of rulings they came up with? Earlier there was rule that if any company is not surviving for 3 years, it cannot give political donations. But now it is possible. This restriction is removed. And if they are donating less than 20,000 rupees, then there is no need to give their names, address or PAN numbers. Even PAN numbers are not necessary here. So every relaxation is there for these political parties, for these fundings, but all restrictions you will see in the for the poor people. Yesterday we discussed about the Aadhaar issue, that if the data is not verified, if the KYC is not done, then your benefits or any kind of income transfers would not be possible in your account because your KYC is not completed. But here you see, if they are giving 19,999 rupees, then there is no need that you submit your PAN number or name or any kind of other data. So maximum donations are coming in this particular number, 19,999 rupees. And the bigger thing is that it would be totally secret. They would not tell it to anyone that who is funding whom. That is the biggest problem. And the bigger problem than this problem is that shell companies, they are now able to give any number of any amount of rupees to these political parties with this way. And all they are telling us that we have made system cashless. Cashless is the word that we are hearing for the last 2 years. Cashless and cashless. But what is the meaning of this cashless when this process has become much more opaque than it was earlier? You were supposed to make this thing more transparent, but you have made it more opaque now. And this thing would only be known to the SBI and maybe to these authorities. They can easily take these names from the SBI. If CBI can work as a parrot, then what about the SBI? So this thing would be known to the establishment very, very easily. That is the practical thing that we can understand here. And these kind of allegations are always there. So in the category of allegations, we can put these things. Means these are the threats that we need to take care here. These are the things that we need to take care. And the whole process has become opaque now. So what is the use? Election Commission even complained about this issue, and it alerted the government that don't go with this move. These kind of provisions are going to make this thing more opaque, and whatever we are targeting, that is never going to achieve. So now Election Commission is moving towards Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to hear this issue on 2nd of April, that what is the issue. But earlier you see, when they amended all these acts like RPA Act of 1951, Financial Act of 2016 brought these things, and Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010, that was actually amended so that these shell companies and all other people from abroad, they can give any amount of money to these political parties. And in this funding also we see imbalance. Some party is getting maximum share of the fundings and some parties are not getting anything. So this whole system is a corrupt system. This whole system is a questionable system, and we are not discussing these matters anywhere in the national media debates. So this is the reality, this is the issue, and it is not a political move. It is not a political thing to discuss. It is the democratic crisis that we need to ensure here, that we bring solutions for these problems. Otherwise, it would not be a democracy after some years. This is for sure. And there are clear-cut symptoms that we do not care about these things. And if we keep continuing this ignorance, then certainly our democracy would be in a perilous state. Now the MCQs that I gave to you yesterday, Global Fund. As I had told you that this is the biggest fund for HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. It is not for the tropical disease. So this statement is wrong, and its administration was under WHO for quite some time, but after that it was removed from that, and now it is administering itself independently. So D9 is the correct answer here. Next, 11 beta methyl 19 nortestosterone. Dodecyl carbonate is a male contraceptive molecule, and you see it would be used in these pills, and a month long pills the males would have to take, and it would be parallel to the female contraceptives. Why only females they use these contraceptives and all, and maybe they are affecting their health. So now this move is for males, and that was interesting information in yesterday's newspaper, so it was regarding that. So they may ask you about this particular chemical. Next, Sharda Peeth, it's a Hindu temple and it is in Pak occupied Kashmir. So this statement would be wrong that it is in Pakistan. Actually it is in the official territory of India only, and the goddess Sharda is the Kuldevi of Kashmiri Pandits. That's again a fact. So this is a wrong statement, this is again a wrong statement, and C only 2 is the correct answer here. And you see, Pakistan, after Kartarpur corridor, they are announcing that a separate corridor would also be made for this. Why Pakistan is announcing? Because it is in the Pak occupied Kashmir, and it may bring some positive things between these two countries. That is why it is in highlight. But it's Sharda Peeth. It was a great center for learning. So that is most important thing. The writer of Raj Tarangini, Mr. Kalhan, and he was also associated with this Sharda Peeth, and some other scholars were also associated with it. So only 2 is the correct answer. Next, the delivery of all Chinook twin engine helicopters, heavy lifters, it will be completed by March 2020. That is the last date. It is not September 2022, and there is no limitation like that. It can easily work during the night time. So this is again a wrong statement. So both are wrong, and D is the correct answer here. Next, Global Energy Transition Index. It was released by World Economic Forum. It was not by IEA, although the name looks like it is energy agency, so it is regarding energy transition, but it is just to make you confused. So it is by World Economic Forum, and here it says a lot of things, and it says that India obviously is the only BRICS country that is to improve its rank since last year. We have come up to 76th rank when we were at 78th rank last year. So it's an improvement of 2 marks, and bigger improvement is there in the systematic handling and the political handling of the issue. And you see, China's rank is below India. It is at 82, and Malaysia is at the top on Asia's list, and 31st rank is there for Malaysia. It is not Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka as 60th, and Bangladesh is at, I think, 90th. So it is a good thing for us, and the moves that we have taken regarding the solar energy and wind energy and all, and these things are contributory to that. So only 3 is the correct answer here. These are wrong statements. Next, the map question that I gave to you yesterday. From tomorrow I will give you 2-3 map questions daily. Today it's a huge newspaper, so I'm gonna cover many things here. So prime meridian, it's longitudes. You see this prime meridian is running through it. It's a 0 degree, and countries west to it, Portugal, Morocco, Mauritania, as they are in the options, and Chad is here. So only Chad country is there east to this prime meridian, and it is running through London's Greenwich. So we all know about that. So 4 only is the correct answer here. Now about the articles today. We are going to discuss this particular article regarding the ISIS and the Quds fighters, how they are the real heroes, and how things are changing on the world platform. This is going to be important for GS paper 2. And this article regarding 370, you see, on Sunday I will take a special session on the whole Kashmir's issue. I will discuss 370, I will discuss the history of it, I will discuss the 335A and what are the troubles and the political ongoing situations that we are going to take in much detail. So that time we can discuss it thoroughly. Otherwise it would be half information, and maybe some of you people, they don't know much about this article 370 and all other provisions. So on Sunday, be prepared, we will take an important lesson on this particular topic. This article we are going to discuss, it is regarding Tamil Nadu's example and regarding the challenges in sanitation that we have. This article we are going to discuss, it is going to be important for GS paper 2 mainly, 1 also, in 3 also, and 4 also, and a very important essay topic also. It's a compilation of the aspirations that we must have today. And during the time of elections, it is important for the whole country. It doesn't matter which party comes to power, but these issues, core issues, are very much vital to our existence. So very important article. And in this article, important for GS paper 2, it is said about the Nagaland situation. In 2015, present government actually dealt with the situation, and they came up with this agreement with the Naga groups, NSCN mainly. And you see, the problem with the Naga groups are these cultural tribes, they are sometimes having a lot of problems with each other. Nagaland has been famous for this particular rivalry in the Britishers' time also, when they were indulged in some head hunting. That was a very much a brutal thing, and they were hunting other tribes people. And since that time, it is known that there are many groups there. They are sometimes very hostile, sometimes they are very brutal, and some groups that emerged after independence, when these headhuntings like things, they are totally banned now. These things are not there, but certainly these groups are aggressive. And now the problem is there with the Naga entrepreneurs also, because anything does not reach up to Nagaland without the taxation that these people are imposing. So they want a free state here, and they want this particular agreement to be smooth and to be fruitful for the people of Nagaland. Otherwise, the problems are many. The situation of development is also perilous there. Unemployment situation is also there, and the location, the particular geographical location is also very, very important for Nagaland. It's a state present on the border of India, and as I have told you, this is Purvanchal Hills, Nagaland. Saramati peak is the highest peak there, and many tribes. Hornbill festival is also very famous for Nagaland, and many tribes are living there. And these tribes are not actually settled within the state of Nagaland. They are spread in other areas of Manipur, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, and in Nagaland, all over this area. So it's a complex issue. It's not something that can be dealt very easily. So we need to see in the future that how government is going to tackle this issue. The officer that was designated for this particular task, Mr. Ravi, is again present in Nagaland, and he is talking to all these leaders. In past also, they had talked with all these important groups in Nagaland, but now we have to see that when they are going to finalize this particular agreement, and the last phase is going on, so how things go smooth, that they are gonna ensure here. So we need to see in the future that how things gonna develop here. So this is the data that is given here, and this article that I told you regarding the Tamil Nadu issue and the sanitation issue is going to be important for GS paper 1 and 2 both. Next is regarding the Jet Airways issue, and the chief has resigned, and now it has gone totally into dogs, and how they are going to save the situation before elections. It has become a big problem for government, because thousands of employees are there, and they are now out of their jobs. And if they are not going to solve this problem for quite some time before elections, then it can develop negatively for the present government. So they have given this issue to banks now, and it's not a permanent solution that is given here, and banks cannot manage this crisis efficiently. So it's not a permanent solution, but anyhow they are postponing this issue, and many more articles are going to come on this particular topic, because it's not a simple thing. It is going to affect a major part of a population here. So we would see, and India's airline industry that is struggling a lot. Air India issue was going on, now the Jet Airways issue, and why these things are happening, why these kind of troubles have been there. So we would have to see there. Okay, so many articles will come in the next week. Then we are going to discuss this particular issue. Next, regarding the sanitation issue, what was the problem when they were building a particular septic tank, and these workers, they came out then just to check the owners of these this septic tank. They went inside, and due to inhalation of some toxic gases, they died on the spot. And 4 people, they went to rescue these people, they also died. So 6 people died in the septic tank that was newly built. but it was actually flouting up some particular laws here in 1993 when first law was passed against manual cleaning. This thing was well known that these are dangerous, these pits are dangerous, and harmful gases are sometimes there. And you see, the issue with these manual scavenging or all these kind of septic tanks are that when somebody inhale these gases, then that person becomes unconscious. It cannot cry, it cannot ask for the help, it just slips into the unconsciousness and ultimately dies. So this is the problem, that many people lose their lives. So that is the reason that in these acts and in these laws, there is Act of Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavenger and their Rehabilitation Act 2013, there should be a total ban on entering these pits or these particular holes, and there are fines. But flouting of norms are the common thing in India, and the rapid urbanization process is also a big problem. You see, in streets of Chennai, when streets are totally chalked and many more people are settled there now, and these particular machines and big trucks and all, they cannot enter these spaces. So that is why many times these local manual scavengers, they are hired and they are easily available, because these are poor people and they lose their lives in these conditions. And this urbanization is rising heavily in India, and the related article is also there today in the paper, when it was regarding the ecosystem imbalance and the rapid urbanization and the problem of urbanization there. So this is the related matter here. So because this urbanization is rising and this is unmanageable in India, more and more people living in the dense areas, more and more people are releasing these wastes, but we do not have those sufficient technologies, those sufficient management of these technical aspects where we bring solutions to these problems. We need fecal sludge treatment plants, which are hardly there in all the cities, and we need omniprocessors. Recently, when they proposed this thing that robots can be used in cleaning these drains and all, so that is a welcome move, and that should have been done even 20 to 25 years back. But till now this thing is not done, and only the trials are gonna start now. So these things are a welcome step. These kind of solutions we need today, otherwise these things will keep happening, they will never stop. So this issue of Sri Perambudur that happened, that again bell these alarms. The similar issues we saw recently in the city of Delhi, where many people had lost lives, and those were manual scavengers. So it's a social issue, it's an issue of technology, it's an issue of apathy towards these poor people. It is the systematic problem. So problem is there in front of us. There are solutions also, but the execution and the will to do these things, that is missing, and there we need to take care. Otherwise there are going to be bigger problems here, because urbanization is rising. The problem of imbalanced growth of India, that is pulling many more people from countryside to these urban areas, to these cities, metropolitan cities, where employment opportunities are very high. So they will keep coming here and they will keep generating waste and waste, because when crores of people are living in a particular city, and that is a small city, then how these things are going to be managed? So we have to see about the management of urbanization process. That is also a bigger culprit here. Next, tragic heroes of the anti-IS war. We had discussed this issue in much detail, where I was talking to you that Kurdish fighters, those were actually supported by USA's troops, and the rebels in Syria who were opposing the Syrian establishment of Bashar al-Assad, these all were forming the Syrian Democratic Front, and that was fighting with the ISIS, these terrorists. So the writer says that Kurds were the key people who actually fought this most dangerous battle and most complex battle of Asia. And you see, in 2014, when this neo caliphate was announced by group's leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, whatever he announced and whatever they did after that, whatever territories they captured, that official stand and that official claim, that is totally destroyed. And it is all because of these Quds fighters, because America started its bombing in 2014, but that was of not much help. But when these Quds fighters, they joined them in 2015, then actual results were out, and they heavily fought with these ISIS terrorists, and they knew about them. These were local people, and that was the main reason that today they are able to suppress all these claims of ISIS, and officially they are gone from this area. All those sleeper cells and all other channels are still there. That means ISIS is totally not crushed, and it is existing in some hidden areas, but officially it is gone from these areas, and all these cities are freed now. And that time it was Obama, today it is Trump. If we compare the situation when Obama was here, then Iran nuclear deal happened, and Iran was also fighting with USA, because Iran trained Shia militias. They helped these Kurdish groups and they trained them, and it was a combined force that fought against the ISIS terrorists. So Iran indirectly was working like these USA's troops, and they were all fighting against ISIS. And you can see the indirect coalition was there, and because of this force only we are able to suppress ISIS today. So till now it was the termination of ISIS claims, but now we are comparing the situation. When Obama was there, Iran was there also on their side, and they were fighting this particular war. But today what is happening? These real heroes, these Quds fighters, they are facing flack from Turkey, because the president of Turkey, Erdogan, he actually has declared these Quds fighters as terror groups, and he has made all the plans after US's withdrawal that they are gonna put a lot of restraints on these groups, and they are gonna tackle very heavily these particular fighters who were actually key fighters against ISIS. So these were real heroes. But what they are having now after fighting this battle, they are having here that USA was the only ally that is gonna withdraw from here, because it has no goal left now. ISIS is gone and USA has to withdraw from here. Erdogan is threatening USA that go away from here, this is our region, and you have made these particular Kurdish fighters very strong, and now we are gonna debilitate them. So Turkey is against these Kurdish fighters. Iran today is also in a way against these Kurdish fighters, because Iran is also having in its northwestern part the influence of these Kurds fighters. So Iran also has problems with Kurds fighters. So from both these countries they are having troubles. Only ally was USA, that is also going. And you see, it was the situation when they became strong during the Obama time, and now the Trump is there, and Trump is all about withdrawing from Afghanistan also, from Syria also, from both the places it is withdrawing. But the thing has become very difficult in both the places. There is no respectable exit for Trump. So what is happening now? The fighters who are fighting against terrorists, they are having troubles. Taliban in Afghanistan is rising. It has become much more important today, and Iran nuclear deal is also quashed. So again, staunch enemies are there, Iran and America, and Turkey has also joined this particular battle, and Turkey is also becoming a bigger enemy for USA. So this world order is going towards a particular decline. They fought an important battle with ISIS, but after that what is happening, that is not beneficial for anyone. And everywhere you see America there. America's stand is totally changed after Trump came, and now all the troubles are there. And even it is not beneficial for America. There is no respectable exit. And the people who were fighting against terrorists, who actually saved many more people, crores of people, because ISIS was exterminating many of them. So when they suppressed ISIS, they freed all these countries, they actually stopped this menace. These people are having troubles here. So this is all given in this article, and it is showing us that US and Turkey both are NATO members, but it's a problem because of Kurds and this Kurdistan. As you know, Turkey is there. In Turkey's southeastern part, these Kurds are there. Here it is Syria's northern part, Iran's western part. So this is all Kurdistan area, and these people are demanding a particular autonomy in this region, but it's not a separate country. And now their existence is also under a threat by Turkey mainly. So that we need to see that how this world is acting, and their interest, or we may say conflict of interest of these countries, in which way they are moving in the future, and it is all undecided, unresolved battles, and what kind of consequences it would bring here, that we need to see here. But the things which are apparent, that the disorders are there, terror groups are rising, Taliban is becoming stronger, Pakistan is becoming comfortable because of Taliban's rise, and we must have curbed all these aspirations of countries like Pakistan, who were terror financiers mainly, who were actually supporting these terror groups, and who were key in spreading the fear in the region. And because of them, the region is unstable today. But today, these big countries like USA, they are bound to talk with countries like Pakistan and these terror groups like Taliban. And Afghan government is totally debilitated here, and it cannot do much. And this is all the problem that is totally against the democratic ways of the countries. So that is the thing that we see. Next, what we need is a common manifesto. As I discussed with you the urbanization process, we saw Chennai floods, and why these floods were there? Because the regions which should have been open, the regions where all these ponds, lakes should have been there, they are gone from there, and we see real estate players there, buildings are there. When nature would bring its own force, when these floodings and all, they would come, then the water would move according to the gravity. So all these low-lying areas, they would be flooded. And when these drains are clogged, and there is no management of the people, there is no management of the population, there is no management of the waste, and there is no management of these particular drain systems, then we see havoc in these cities. Although these are metropolitan areas, but when nature comes with its force, we see all destruction. This is happening in Japan. Last year in July we saw, and in the Mississippi state of America, the devastation is going on, the flooding is going on. This is all ignorance. This is all our wrong aspirations. That is totally against the nature. That is totally against the ecosystem balance. And we are ignoring nature heavily here. So the writer says that this is actually the common goal that we all should discuss, and this should be the common manifesto of all the parties. If these parties are not talking about these issues, that means they are fooling us. Any kind of national messages can be there, but if these vital issues are not raised, that means we are hitting our own roots and leave about the next generations. Even we will not be able to survive after 20 to 25 years. Look at the situation of drinking water today. Summers are pending, but these major reservoirs of the country, 91 major reservoirs are there, they are going on only with 33% of capacity, and every week 2 to 3% decline is there. So you suppose the condition, how these cities, they are going to survive in this summer. And this is the worst situation if we compare the situation to the past. So this is happening. So in the summers we see total lack of drinking water and other important resources, and when rains are going to come, then we see flooding in the cities. So this is total mismanagement, and if we are not caring about the situation, that means we are inviting the destruction. And it is very specific with the country like India, which is trying its best in a way. According to the official claims, we are trying our best. We have made our claims of 175 gigawatt of renewable energy for 2030. We have 40% energy mix target. So these are great goals, but how we are going to achieve, that's a different discussion. According to reports, we are not going to achieve this 175 gigawatt target. We are not going to achieve 100 gigawatt of solar energy. We are not going to achieve 60 gigawatt of wind energy. And these are according to our achievements and all. But what about these problems which are unaddressed and we are not doing much about them? That is problem. Coastal regulation zone notification, that became the biggest controversy of this year, when they came up with these new regulations and they allowed all kinds of destruction, all kinds of activities, commercial activities in those sensitive regions where utmost care was needed. And we needed it. It is not only regarding the survival of these species or diversities. It is about us. We have burning examples of Chennai flood like situations, but we are not caring about these situations, because most of the times poor population, that is under threat. And the only thing that is common in all these processes, in all these moves, that there is a dire apathy for poor people, poorest of poor people, that we all can see. So all these things, they should be the common manifesto, whatever party comes into power, but these things should not go unaddressed. Next, the issue of base erosion and profit shifting. Economic issue. India impact to ease US firms compliance. What this compliance is about: agreement provides for automatic exchange of CBC, country by country reports filed by parent entities of MNEs. Means multinational enterprises are there, and their headquarters in a particular country, their units are working in some country, manufacturing units are there in some other country, and parent entities means the owners, they are there in some other country. So it's a global approach. And what is problematic here? The taxation issue. Suppose in a country like Maldives, where tourism is the only flourishing industry, all other industries are not that much great, so they would need them because people are living there, so they would invite some other country. Maybe take the example of steel. They are going to invite steel manufacturers and their investment in Maldives, because Maldives does not have its own. So some company from India that would go there and that would establish. Why? Because Maldives says, if you are going to invest here, then we would not demand any kind of tax. You just come here, invest here and establish this industry. We would not demand any kind of tax from you, or maybe very less amount of tax. So it's a kind of a tax haven for these companies. So they would come here, they would invest here. And what is going to happen here? According to double taxation agreements, only one country you are going to pay tax to. So you will go to that country where the taxation process is very much beneficial and taxes are at lowest. So this company from India that would go and invest in Maldives, and it would shift its units or its parent entity there, so that they are not going to pay any kind of taxes. So who is at trouble here? India would be at trouble here, because India was demanding some taxes from this company, but now it has shifted its entities to Maldives like country. I'm giving you this example, only example. It is not the reality. So India was about to take tax, but now the tax would not be possible because it has moved to Maldives. So this issue is called base erosion and profit shifting. Okay, means profit has been shifted. This profit should have been here, but it has gone to some other country. And because of this issue, it is happening globally, and many companies are involved with this. Many loopholes are there, and ultimately economies, they face the trouble of these loopholes. So this agreement is regarding this BEPS, base erosion and profit shifting. Okay, and it's a key step in making India compliant with the BEPS. So it's a problem, and the thing that is important for exam point of view is BEPS. And who brought it? The OECD companies, OECD group and the G20 companies. G20 countries, they brought it in 2013. They recognized that the way forward to mitigate risk from base erosion profit shifting was to enhance the transparency. So for this transparency, all these agreements are there. The issue of Golan Heights, they may ask you the map question. You see the Lebanon country is touching the border, Syria is touching the border, Jordan is touching the border, Israel obviously is there, Lake Tiberias or Sea of Galilee as we call it, that is there on the border. Mount Hermon is very important. They may ask you, it's a pious mountain, and it is the central a place where all these religious centralization is there. Okay, they consider it very holy. So this is the thing, and as I told you, it was started in 1967 when this 6-day war that was there, and after that Israel occupied this Golan Heights, which was the part of Syria at that time. So all these countries are saying that we will keep calling it Israel occupied Golan Heights, but America, or we may say Trump, is saying that, and it is actually a change in the US policy that is for decades. It is saying that Golan Heights is a part of Israel, as it has annexed it in 1981. So they may ask you about these years, or they may ask you about the geography of this area regarding Sea of Galilee or Mount Hermon and all, and something like that. This is Jordan here, this is Israel, and Dead Sea is there on the border of Israel and Jordan. That is also important here. Next, these are the MCQs. Try their answers and try to look for the additional data and informations. And from tomorrow, I will raise these questions and map questions also. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. PDF you will get here on this group. The Telegram's link is also given. There I upload these PDFs daily.